Most people think of country clubs as stuck up or pretentious, or you have to know someone there in order to belong. But today, we're talking about a beautiful country club community in St. Louis that really flips the script. So, welcome to Whitmoor Country Club.
So, if you're thinking about moving to St. Louis and you're looking for a country club that is not snobby, Whitmoor is definitely one of those. We are very welcoming. And if you're looking to hang out at the clubhouse, you're an avid golfer, you like to do community events, you have young children, or you're older and you're retired, Whitmoor has all age groups and is very welcoming.
So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what it's really like to live in Whitmoor, from all the styles of homes you can buy here, what the golf scene is really like, and some of the stuff that no one tells you before you move here. Welcome to the video. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Mindy.
So first up, we're going to talk about what it's like to actually live in Whitmoor Country Club, the homes and the neighborhoods. Now, the first thing you got to know is that living in Whitmoor is different from just being a member at Whitmoor. So you buy a house here, you move in and pay your HOA dues. That is not the same thing as joining the country club as a member and paying your country club dues. So those are separate things. Being a resident does not make you automatically a member.
And the flip side of that is you don't have to live in Whitmoor to become a member. We have lots of members that don't actually live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are thousands of members at Whitmoor Country Club, but only a couple hundred homes within the community itself. So only a few people actually have, the benefit of living there and also being members there.
I think we have around 632 homes.
Yep, that sounds about right. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are looking to move into Whitmoor, there are actually 3 different types of houses you're going to see here.
Yes, we have 3 different types. We have the villas, which is your smallest option, and those are attached. There are some that actually back up to the course. There are some that are on smaller lots and don't have quite as nice a view, but they're all very, very nice, and they're still about 2,000 plus square feet. Most of them have walkout finished basements. So it's a great option for those that really don't want a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, so the villas are going to be one of your smaller options for housing in Whitmoor, and they are very sought after, believe it or not. It is a very tight-knit market. A lot of the deals we've done for the villas are actually off-market. They don't even hit the open market like Zillow and Redfin. So if you're looking to move into Whitmoor, whether it's a villa or a single-family home, get in touch with us. We are practicing realtors in the area. Call us, text us, email us, whatever works for you.
So I actually moved into Whitmoor about a year ago and have been a member going on 5 years. So we do have lots of friends in the community, and we can let people know if you're looking to move into the neighborhood and try and find something off market. So the second type of home that we have in Whitmoor is a cluster home. And a cluster home is a great option for those that want a smaller home. They're still around 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. Some have walkout finished basements, but they are on the smaller lots. They have a monthly fee that is included that covers your snow removal, grass cutting. As far as landscaping, I think you can still do your personal landscaping, but maybe weeding and trimming, that sort of thing is still included with that. We have 4 or 5 streets within Whitmoor that are considered cluster homes. Those are hard to find also because a lot of times people within the community, if they've lived there for a long time and they want to move, they'll put the word out, and sometimes they'll make an arrangement again before something hits the market. Price range for cluster homes can be, if it's fully updated, we had one last year that sold for $675, right in that ballpark. There are others though, if they're not as updated, you're probably in the $400 to $450 price point.
Now, there are 3 subdivisions where you're going to find these cluster homes within Whitmoor. So there's the Pines, the Forest, and the Forest 2. So any home within one of those 3 groups is going to be a cluster home. Kind of a step up from the villa if you're looking for maybe a little bit more square footage. They're all going to be single family detached homes, so that's one difference. But the cluster homes are kind of in the middle, where they're bigger than the villas, but not as big as the next home we're going to talk about, which are the estate homes.
So the estate homes are the detached homes, completely detached. They're on your larger lots. Not all of them are on huge lots, but most of them have either back to the golf course or have some kind of view. You're responsible fully for all your own landscaping, grass cutting, irrigation. So the price point on the estate homes, there have been some that have been in the 600s. Most of those need a good amount of updates. They can go as high as the 4 millions. Anything above that $2 million mark, you're going to find on Upper Whitmore, and those are your very large estate homes. The other homes within Whitmore, I would say range anywhere from 600, like I said, if it's not updated, and you can get up to close to 2 million.
Most homes within Whitmore are going to be within this category of being estate homes, so they're going to be larger floor plans, and you'll see some that are a nice atrium ranch, story and a half, 2 stories, so you're going to see bigger lots, and they really range. Sometimes you'll see more of these custom homes with a lot of updates and custom features, especially if they're, larger in square footage. And then some maybe on the smaller end, but with the estate homes, it really ranges a lot for what you can get.
And I think that's one thing that I do love about the whole Whitmore aesthetic is that nothing's cookie cutter. When they started building Whitmore, you, I believe, could choose your builder. They had a couple different builders in there, and they were really custom homes. None of them look exactly the same. You do find some of the floor plans are the same. Like the Atrium Ranch is a very popular one. But overall, they're just so different. You're not like in your normal subdivision where you had so many colors you could choose from in 4 or 5 different styles.
That's a really good point, Mindy. You're going to notice a lot of this really nice architecture. A lot of these homes that just look and feel more custom. You're going to see a lot of brick and stone exteriors, rear and side entry garages. A lot of these just really stately looking homes.
And you have some that are very modern, and then you have some that are very traditional. It really is kind of a range of the different style of homes in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And overall, you're going to see a lot of these homes with just huge soaring ceilings, lots of really big windows looking out over the golf course, a lot of atriums. I mean, a lot of these homes that were built to look out at the views and appreciate the golf course. You're also going to see a lot of cul-de-sac and dead-end neighborhoods, so it does have that privacy if you're looking for that. Lots of homes that have these, big circle driveways if they're on a bigger lot. So it really does have a high-end feel with the homes here, and like Mindy said, this is not a cookie-cutter neighborhood. It has a very established feel, and some of the homes here range dating back to the late 80s, early 90s, and then there has been some infill with recently built homes.
Yes, there are a few new ones. And when you're actually driving through the neighborhood, if you're on different streets, you'll notice how hilly it can be, but that is what provides some of the amazing views that we have.
It is hilly. It is pretty fun to take the golf cart out for a
is.
ride. I mean, this is a country club community. You will see your neighbors riding around in golf carts all over, going to the clubhouse together, going to yoga class together, or just taking a drive around the neighborhood because it is pretty scenic.
Yes, and it's always fun because everyone always smiles and waves, and it's a great way to really get to know your neighbors' kids, the community, all of the above. So a couple of things to note about the community is we actually have 2 entrances. You have the one off Wolfram, which is not gated, and I would say that's the front entrance. For most people, that's what we call the front entrance. And then the back entrance is what comes off Pittman Hill or Kisker. You can come up Kisker. A lot of people don't realize that it's gated, and it's kind of a pain because they get there and then they're like, how do we get in? It's not the easiest system. They are looking at upgrading that, and it is definitely something that a lot of the community talks about. Some love it and some absolutely hate it.
And it kind of adds to that privacy aspect too, because you can't drive through the neighborhood. You're not going to be able to get out the gated entrance and exit.
And I think the reason they started the back gate way back when was because a lot of kids were cutting through the neighborhood to get to the high school. I don't know that that is such an issue now because of different roads that have been put in since the 80s and 90s, but that's, I think, one of the main reasons people were really cutting through the neighborhood when they first opened it.
Another thing to know here is that if you live in Whitmore, you cannot have a fenced backyard. Really, the only exception to that is if you have a pool, you can have the immediate pool area fenced.
Yes.
But you're not going to see any fenced backyards here.
Yeah, you can have the electric fences if you have a dog, but they do not allow any fences. There are a few on Killary Down that back up to Pittman that do have fences, and those were grandfathered in. So those are a select few, and that is one of the perks of those homes. They actually have fenced yards. But I would say there's maybe 4 or 5 that actually have the fenced yard that don't have the pool.
Another thing too is that there are no sidewalks through this community, so people are going to be walking around either on the streets, which are pretty wide.
Yes.
So they're not, tight roads, or people drive around on golf carts.
I definitely love that it has wider streets, and we just had all the streets repaved. That is one thing that does fall on the neighborhood. We just had a major assessment the last 2 years to cover the costs of the streets because they are private streets.
Yep.
But that has been done. They look great. So everything looks nice and new.
Speaking of the streets, you cannot have overnight street parking here. So
Correct.
if you have friends and family in town, guests overnight, you're going to have them park in your driveway, which the nice thing is a lot of these homes have, pretty big driveways.
Yes.
You do see a lot of circle driveways, but they cannot park on the street overnight.
I don't think anyone's out giving tickets, but I think if you try and park a car several nights in a row, someone's going to notice it.
Yeah. And this is a country club community, so if you are interested in living on the golf course, be mindful of the specific home and location you're looking at, because depending on where it is, there are some homes that get a lot of windows taken out from stray golf balls.
Yes, you definitely want to pay attention to how it's situated, where it's situated, if it's on a green, if it's on a tee box. That all comes into play with how many golf balls you might end up taking. I know there are some yards that get a lot of golf balls. Most people are pretty good about if they were to hit your home or break a window. I would hope that most people would be honest and come and tell you so that you're not incurring that cost if something were to be broken. But I definitely know I have some friends that they know that they are just more kind of in that line and they just try to be mindful of it. And especially if they're outside, not sitting in direct fire. Yeah, no, my friend that just bought her home, their garage door. I mean, which thankfully it's not where they sit, but they're like, oh man, because they want to put new garage doors on, but they're like, how long is it going to last that we don't get it's just the way it's situated.
Yeah.
It really is. So
what do you do with the garage door to mitigate that? Do you want to go for a darker color so you don't see the dents and bumps as much?
Well, it's a tough one because I feel like sometimes darker would show more. It just
right, because
depends.
if it's white golf balls, yeah.
Yeah, that is tough. So, but definitely something that you have to think about.
Right. Keep that in mind.
Yes. But the benefit is you can go around and pick up golf balls.
Yeah, free balls.
Some free ones.
So speaking of the golf balls, let's talk about the courses and all the amenities that you get if you live in Whitmoor and decide to become a member. So Whitmoor does have two 18-hole golf courses. There's the North Course, which is a par 71 golf course. Pretty scenic. That one tends to have some more water features on it. There's 10 different lakes and ponds throughout Whitmoor, and the North Course tends to have more of those.
So the second course is considered the South Course. It's a par 72. It's slightly hillier. It is considered to be a little bit more challenging of the two. It kind of depends on what tees you're teeing off from, if it's white, blue, that sort of thing. They're very scenic. They're very pretty. I love being out on the course, and I tend to play the North Course more. I don't know why. My husband just must sign us up for that one. But I love the opportunity when we're back on the South Course to see something different.
Yeah.
So both courses are beautiful.
If you're into fitness, Whitmoor has a 4,000 square foot fitness facility that's recently got some updates.
They just gave it a little facelift, nothing huge, some new machines, new flooring, painted, so it feels a little bit lighter and brighter in there. But I personally use the fitness club versus having a different membership outside. Some people it may not suffice, but I think for most average people that just want some treadmills, weights, that sort of thing, it's a perfect fit.
You can get into with the app. How does that work?
Yes, they have a fingerprint, and
Okay.
you can get in 24/7. They actually have a little sauna downstairs too. I've never used it, but I know people that do. And they also have a side where they do teach some classes, and you can do different workouts.
Yeah, so if you're into taking a yoga class or
Yeah.
a circuit class, you could do that at the fitness center.
Yeah, absolutely. It overlooks the tennis court and the pool whenever that's open.
Yeah, let's talk about the pools. So you got two different pools you can go to at the clubhouse.
Yes, you have the upper pool that was just opened last season, and it's awesome. It is great for it's not really baby, but it's the kids. It has I guess the babies could use the water pad feature, but it also has slides. It has the swing rope where you can swing out and jump off of. And it does have the sunshades. So it's great for families that have kids that are in elementary school. You have a lot of those kids up there. My daughter's a lifeguard, and she doesn't necessarily love lifeguarding that pool because it's much more active than the other pool.
A lot more blowing the whistle on people.
A lot more blowing the whistle at the kids. So not all the time, but it seems like on weekends when they're pretty busy, she's blowing that whistle.
And then you have the lower pool.
So it's the older pool. I would say it's more the lounge pool. It does have the baby pool. There is a separate little baby pool over in that area. And I mean, there's plenty of kids that swim in that pool also, but you kind of see the adults gravitate more towards that pool. And then you have the bar or it's kind of a little hut. And then you also have the snack bar. I think they try and keep that open when the pool's open, pool hours.
Yeah.
So.
And they call them the upper and lower because like upper one is like it's up a set of stairs on a higher deck, right?
Yep. It's on a higher pool deck.
Yep.
And that's the one where they also, so Whitmoor does have a swim team. So, and the swim team is allowed to use that pool, and that's where they host meets and stuff.
Yeah, because the upper pool is the one that has laps in it, right? The swimming lanes.
It has the lanes. Yep. Yeah, but we've really enjoyed having that pool open, and I think we went through two seasons while they were rebuilding it.
Right. You've also got some tennis courts and pickleball courts if you're into that.
Pickleball has become very popular, and I see a lot of people out there taking advantage of that. The tennis courts, same thing. When the weather gets nice, people are just out and about using the amenities and, just being a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I will say a couple fun things that Whitmoor does with the pool. They have a huge 4th of July event, and they do an adult, not an adult swim, but where they throw beer cans and little shots for an adult dive, and then they have a kids dive where they're diving for different pool toys, and they I think sodas for the kid. They do different things that they throw in, and then all the kids can dive. But it's always fun seeing the adults come up with their stash. Everyone's very competitive, I feel like.
Now let's talk about the Clubhouse, because the Clubhouse is a big hangout spot if you live here.
Whitmoor has definitely leveled up in recent years thanks to Concert Golf Partners,
which is a private equity company that owns country clubs. They bought Whitmoor a few years ago, and they have poured money into improving a lot of things within the community. The clubhouse, the pools, the golf courses. They made just under $3 million of capital expenditures in upgrades after they bought the country club. So they've spent money improving the country club recently.
Yes, we're very excited. They're getting ready to reopen the Sand Trap.
Yes, that was the old restaurant, and now it's called the Champions Club.
They gave it a major facelift. It looks beautiful. They did a really, really good job. It's very moody, kind of bougie feeling, but I think it'll be I think we'll really utilize it more. It leads into the simulator room. They updated that too. So my husband's super excited. When you walk into the first floor, you're going to have ahead of you, there's a beautiful fireplace. And then beyond that is what I would call almost a ballroom events. When they do weddings, outside events, they use it. Or if they're having the big Christmas party, or if there's golf dinners, it's used for all kinds of things. And you can actually rent the space, and you don't have to be a member. They do all kinds of outside weddings. You can do baby showers, graduation parties. I know that I've seen high school teams use it for different dinners when they're the golf club or the basketball team. Whatever team is having their banquet, you can hire or you can use that facility for that. Then if you go to the left, when you walk in, there is a lounge area. It's a little bit darker. It's kind of got that loungy vibe, and there's a bar, and that's where they will serve food. If you're wanting to grab a bite to eat through the winter, that's always open. They will then, if they're having big events or they do a huge Mother's Day brunch, it's amazing, then open up into the ballroom area.
And then, in the basement, that's where they just did some renovations.
Previously Sand Trap and Bunker, it's now called the Champions Club.
The golf simulators, that's also where the kids club is.
Yes, everyone's ready to get kids club back, because they kind of, when they were doing all their renovations, they kind of had to shut that down for a little bit.
Yeah, there's really always something going on here. If you are new to the community, looking to make friends and meet new people, there is a lot of stuff you can join and participate in. And when you're 100%. A member at Whitmoor, you actually get the app on your phone that will show you all the fitness classes, the dinners, the happy hours you can go to, just to see the full social calendar of things going on, because there are a lot of choices.
I think one thing that's nice to know too, if you aren't a member and you become friends with people in the community that are, we can still bring friends to the event. We just have to, add them. If there's a cost to it, it just gets added under our membership. But it's nice. I know we have a event coming up called Wine Pot Taco, and you bring a pot to plant flowers, and they have a really good arrangement that we get to choose from. And then we have tacos that night. And wine. So Wine Pot Taco, that's what it's called. So I have a couple friends that live in the neighborhood that aren't members. So I'll always tag them, and they get to come to those events too. So it doesn't always mean that you have to be a member to do those events, but you kind of have to have a friend that is, so they
Yeah.
can tag along.
That's a good point. Yeah. And especially like during the summertime, you can pay for a guest for the pools. So
Yep.
if you have friends that aren't members, you can absolutely,
And
bring
there's
them out for the
also
day.
the social membership.
Yep.
So there is that option. If your family is not avid golfers and you're not going to be golfing all the time, you have the option of being a social member where you can go to all the events. You can use the pool all summer. You can use the fitness center. That's a great option for people that are not going to be using that golf course all the time.
Yep.
Because I will, it's an investment. So, but if your whole family's using it all the time, it's very worth it. But if not, that social membership is a great option.
All of the events you have to choose from are just one of the big highlights, but really it doesn't compare to just the fact that you have such a great community. It's warm, it's welcoming. I think that is really one of the key drivers of why people like to live here and be members.
Yes. And I will say, like, when we first joined, I think it's been about 5 years ago, I was a little intimidated. My husband was a huge golfer before, so he's very comfortable in the golf atmosphere. I was very gun shy per se because I didn't really know how golf worked. And I definitely did not know how a country club, like how that, I'd always had in my mind that, oh, these people are going to be pretentious. But actually, everyone is so welcoming and friendly. Everyone's always smiling. And there's so many different, I would say, groups of friends within the community, but all those groups spill over too. So I have an amazing group of friends that I have met, and I became even closer since we actually moved in. But I'm also friends with lots of people outside of that group, and it's fun to see how everybody overlaps and getting to know like the people older and younger than me, because there's a lot of younger families that are moving in, and then there's also a lot of people that have lived there since they first built.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a great community. I feel like if you need anything, there's always someone willing to help you.
Yeah.
We had to hang a cabinet one time, and my husband sent out a note, and we had 2 people show up like within the hour to help us get it home. So it's very much a community. And my kids did not grow up in the school district, but it's a great school district. And I know the moms that have school age kids, they have their own community, and they keep each other in the loop and give each other, ride shares and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's what I love about it. It's so warm,
Yeah.
it's so friendly, and it just does not fit that stereotypical stuck-up country club feel.
Right. That you don't have to be somebody to be somebody. You can just show up who you are and you'll make friends.
And so if you are brand new to St. Louis, brand new to Whitmore, there are some really great things they have going on to just kind of dip your toes in the water and get into the community. One great thing is that if you're not big into golf or you're not very experienced, they have year-round training for you. So if you want to get better at golf, you can absolutely do that.
100%. They have a couple pros that give private lessons. And then they also, I know, like, I just got an email that we're getting ready to start like the women's clinic, that it's going to be one night a week, and they have a couple of the pros up there helping in a group setting. So that's a little bit less costly if you want extra lessons. They also have like the women's and men's leagues. We have 9 and dines, and that's kind of my favorite because you do a quick, well, not always quick, but you play 9 holes and then you go back and they have food and drinks. And it's very, again, going back to the community. Everybody loves to stay and chat.
That's a great option during the summertime, right? Summer months only.
Yep. The 9 and dines start in May and then in October, I believe. They also do several, if you are like a more serious golfer, they have all kinds of events. They have the member, they have the tri-member, they have the member guest, but there are lots of different tournaments that they actually have. They have the Sweetheart Open. That's one of the only ones I ever play in, but a lot of times it's called the Divorce Open.
Oh.
No, it's usually a fun day though. They also have an ABCD. I keep thinking of them. I mean, your calendar can be really full if you wanted to sign up for all the golf tournaments.
And then there's always stuff going on in the clubhouse.
Yes.
Thursday nights are family nights, so kids eat free. They have people to take care of the kids.
Yep. Now that Kids Club is opening back up, they will have that. They do all kinds of events throughout the year, and they really have gotten more creative. They did like a charcuterie board and wine night one night.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. They always do like a 4th of July parade up at the clubhouse where everyone brings their golf carts and they can decorate them. And last year, I think they got rained out, unfortunately, but they'll do the Easter Bunny. They do a great Mother's Day brunch, and it is really good spread. It's one of my favorite things because then I don't have to cook. They have a father-daughter dance.
Okay.
At some point. They just do a lot of social activities throughout the entire year.
A lot to say about Whitmoor, a lot of things to love, from the homes, the actual neighborhoods that you get when you live here, to the golf, the amenities. I mean, all of the social events. There is a lot to talk about with Whitmoor, and so much you can do when you live here.
Yeah, we have zero regrets that we made that jump and decided to actually move into the neighborhood. We have some very close friends, and we're very lucky. It's definitely a lifestyle. We actually want to stay within the neighborhood more than we want to go out.
So if you are looking to make the move into Whitmoor, get in touch with us. We'd love to help you with that process. We are practicing realtors here in St. Louis, especially if you're looking for some more options off the market. We can help with that.
Try and help find those.
Yeah, call us, text us, email us. We'd love to help you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.